Welcome to SK. I'm sorry. We are D and K podcast. Okay, let me bring this back
She
a little
said,
bit.
"Welcome to SK on the radio."
Yeah, it is not SK on the radio. It is D and K podcast, and we're back. First episode of 2026.
That's right. January 12th, 2026 is today. I can't believe it's already 12 days into the new year.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes, and I mean it's of course where we left off last time. There's been a whole mountain of things. I know that we can't go through them all.
No.
I know if you've been paying any type of attention or have any sort of social media presence anywhere, I mean, including like my mother. My mother knows a lot about the stuff that's been going on lately. So good. What I am seeing is a lot more people trying to stay informed and stay involved and at least trying to stay up with what's going on. But
it becomes difficult. Me doing radio shows in the morning as well. And it's just like it's information overload every 12 to 24 hours, not days.
It really is. And it's hard to tell. And like things can literally go from one direction to the other, to the other, to the other in like one day. And so it's just somebody even was saying like during the holidays when we were talking about taking off and they were like, well, you should record some shows. And like, we can't record these shows because literally the next day they may be irrelevant. So, I mean,
even the podcasters that I know that do pre-record their shows, that now they're just like, well, let's see.
Yeah. I mean, my point is you can do a topic that's kind of timeless. That's kind of like just an broad overview, which may be a little bit of what I have to talk about today, but you do have to still remain current because again, it can change that fast. So, thank you everybody that, like I said, that I have seen staying up with what's going on right now. I mean, the world's kind of going a little bit crazy. We're like those, I don't know if it's the analogy of the frogs cooking in the boiling pot. I don't know, but I'm just ready to jump out. Sometimes sometimes I want to throw in the towel. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm over it,
but you're not.
I'm not over it. No. But I feel like, okay, if just like I've always been with you guys, if I'm really going to keep it real and just what's in my brain at the moment, something that I was telling Daryl is just something I want to get off my chest. Some things that can become discouraging, even to us, someone that, we sit there and stay in it to inform you guys. We, like Daryl will go to different events to keep us updated on what's going on, even locally and with our local officials here in Mississippi or here in Rankin County. And we try to keep y'all abreast of that. So we're very focused on that. But even then, we start looking at just the broad spectrum of where we've come from a year ago. And from like, let's just start off with the 2024 election where we got everybody to come together and just overwhelmingly vote Trump into office. And how quickly sometimes the mentality of staying together as one unit can just quickly dissolve into chaos, can be just discouraging. And I say it's discouraging. And no, I promise you guys, I'm not waving the white flag and saying I'm done. But I think I can speak to how even some other people think. And maybe I'm hopefully giving them a voice and saying, yes, it can get crazy. And it's hard to know which direction to go and like who's telling the truth, who's not. We thought this person was a good person. Now it seems like they're not a good person. What are they doing? What are they hiding? And it's just, it can get very overwhelming and very confusing. And, that's when really it's time to take a deep breath, pray, and have God guide you and show you, who to be looking at, who to be listening to, and who not to be listening to, and let your gut and God guide you there. But I am, I'm just going to speak from what Peter Griffin used to say, what really grinds my gears sometimes is it being very discouraging.
Let it out, Kim.
I'm trying to. So this has been on my mind a little bit lately because, like I said, sometimes you can just You can just get a little discouraged with what's going on, almost to the point where you put blinders on. You're like, okay, I'm not even going to think about that because it's just too much. I've got so much stuff personally going on and I don't want to think about it. But then at the same time, I really can't do that. I can't do that because I made a commitment to everybody here that I'm going to keep going, keep on track. But I mean, we're all human. And I just believe I'm not the only one that can get very discouraged about what's going on within our own party. I'll say it that way. And I'm not even necessarily talking about the highest, like the administration and Trump's administration at the moment. I'm not even speaking of that. I'm actually speaking of people that we support, people that we tell to go vote for, people that we say, hey, we've got to keep, the Republicans in office. We got to keep them and the majority, because if we want to pass what we said we want Trump to do, they're the Republicans, right? So they're going to be voting for what Trump, who voted on the who was on the Republican ticket for president, this is what he wants. This is who we voted for. So vote for these people. And then those people get into office and they just do a 180, and you're just, it does become very discouraging. And so, in my opinion, I feel as if, and this may not be the only episode that we talk about this, because we've got midterms coming up, which is one thing that really makes me even more nervous about everything that's going on. Say what you want to Democrats. I can say a whole bunch negatively. The only positive that I have to say that I always witness is that they can bicker and disagree, but they typically don't do it out in the open, because the one winning, and I say winning, I'm meaning more legislatively, the one winning strategy that they do have is that they move as a cohesive unit. They vote in lockstep to push their agendas down the road, whether it be something on our side that we want or not. So I guess hopefully
Republicans can't line up together as one. I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
But like you said, the Democrats, regardless, whether it's going to be health care, which obviously is going to be a big issue for years, whether it's going to be school stuff, whatever it is, they're going to line up. Even if they don't agree.
Correct.
They're going to line up and vote the same way every time.
And it's just, why can we not? Okay. Forget the people that we always complain about has been there for years and years and decades. Cool. Okay. If you're going to stay in there and we're going to allow you to stay in there, can you just at least vote for the agenda we voted for? We voted for an agenda. We voted for Trump, granted. I wanted him back in office and we got him. But we literally voted for his agenda.
Period.
His agenda was like, the DOGE.
The SAVE Act.
The SAVE Act that, who's going to vote against requiring voter ID, same day voting, vote in person?
Apparently a lot of people, including with R's behind their name and D's behind their name, and possibly I's behind their name.
Possibly.
So,
yeah.
What the hell?
Because I know a lot of Democrats, and I'm not speaking of elected ones.
Right.
I know a lot of people who vote Democrat who also want safe and fair elections. I mean,
sure.
Most people do, because I can tell you, we've either been born or entered in the correct and legal way. We are American citizens, and therefore only American citizens should be voting who's in office. It's
and if you think about the divorce rate, people don't like cheaters.
No. Oh, they don't. No, they don't.
And I say that jokingly
to
make a
point.
That way. The point is, people don't like, usually, people don't like cheaters. I'm not saying.
And especially the outright vote. Okay, no, let's allow this fraud to continue.
Right. And speaking of fraud, the whole country is being exposed now by all of the fraud. And everything from which we all knew, we all said it over and over, the 2020 election, a big sham. Other elections, Arizona elections, whatever.
Georgia, everywhere.
Georgia was a joke.
It was a joke.
I mean, it was a literal pie in your face to anyone that voted for Donald Trump, which is sad.
Yes. And I mean the crazy thing that I will never forget about watching the 2020 elections, because I actually had two shows I was flipping back and forth that were,
Live.
some commentators. I was watching Glenn Beck and I was watching Steven Crowder. And the crazy thing is that Glenn Beck started noticing some of the stuff that some of their reporters out there were saying. But Steven Crowder had a stream into the night. They were the first ones where I saw someone video the cars coming up late at night, pulling out these boxes, and the people asking them, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And they just walk right on. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, they're going to catch them, because obviously you can't be doing that. And I mean, you got the leaks going on,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, they sprung a leak over here. Let's all go home for the night. And they all came back in. And it's just one of those things where you just, as it went along, you were thinking, how are they allowed to get away with this? But then, of course, we're figuring out that, I mean, it was a very big operation. This was from the top down.
Yeah. And honestly, and I know you weren't personally talking about his personal administration and he being Trump, but I'll just throw it out there. Look, I'm tired. I'm exhausted, actually, from where are the perp walks, where are the arrests, Russia collusion hoax, 0. January 6th, 0. Mar-a-Lago, 0. Biden auto Putin, 0. I can keep going. Doge finding, 0. COVID, 0. Benghazi, 0. Nothing. I asked that question this morning on another show, and everybody agreed with me. We need accountability yesterday.
We do.
Now. Okay. Now, right now. And all of this uni-party stuff, which it basically is in a lot of ways. I'm not saying everybody is, but a lot of people are towing the line for both sides just to make sure they, quote, try and win the midterms, like you mentioned earlier.
And one of the, and this is a little bit of, conspiracy theory talk. And I mean, I'm using it for the actual definition term, but I do feel like, you have the Democrats that are going to be opposing the Republicans. Well, the Republicans also need to oppose somebody too, to be like, hey, we got to go get these people, and this is why I feel like sometimes they want to vote for stuff like that and just not actually look at the fact that they voted for it, or remember in a few months that they voted down the SAVE Act, because that SAVE Act had so much stuff that was our MAGA agenda that we voted for.
Yes.
And it's crazy, because it wasn't just like the voter ID stuff and all that. I mean, it was like the Doge findings. You don't think that if we sat there and, number one, stopped foreign aid and all these crazy NCOs that we're, paying tons and tons of money to, that if we stopped that funding, that we also could start an investigation to maybe get these people behind bars? I mean, it's a step. And I mean, when you're not even going to take the first step, I can promise you one thing, rhinos, I will not forget your name and who voted for this and who didn't. And I'm going to start digging. Yeah, I've already got a few people on my list.
We copied and pasted it, by the way.
Yeah.
So I've got it saved in my notes.
Yeah. And I mean, I have a feeling that I'm going to start my little Kim rants again at some point, because I'm going to have a few people I'm going to get on my soapbox about. And that's why I was telling you, like, this is maybe the rejuvenation that I need, because I need something to give a little bit, because sometimes you feel like you're yelling at a brick wall, and it just.
And how many counts did they have against Trump? What, 34?
30, yeah, 34.
We haven't seen 0 against them.
Yeah. Okay. And boy, they allowed it, let him get arrested, go to jail, take a mug shot.
And the DOJ, they got him. And actually any law enforcement, the DOJ is obviously huge, Department of Justice.
Yes.
Them failing to arrest people that are guilty of fraud and charged with fraud, but not arresting them, is just as bad as the perpetrator. It is.
My point is, if that's the case, I know that there's like, so there was, of course, I don't remember which president, appointed this judge, but the one that allowed Comey not to basically get charged, correct? But
Yeah.
that's one. That's
That's
one
just
that
one.
they've tried. That's one. Bombard the system with all these people, and then it's going to gain so much momentum in news that people are going to notice, oh, it's these judges allowing these people to get off. I mean, my thing is, do something to shake them up in that way, because hands down, Trump can shake things up. Trump is shaking things up all over the world
Every day.
every day. But this is the stuff that's affecting, because it's continual. Because when you're allowing this to happen and not have anyone punished for this, they're going to do it again over here and over here and over here, and because it doesn't stop them. People like George Soros, it's not going to stop them. He needs to be fully investigated. He needs to be brought with charges, because I can tell you 100% what he is doing is not legal.
No.
And since it is not, we need to bring those people to justice. I don't care what anybody says. And I can tell you, if you're a Republican right now that's pushing for getting those people brought to justice, I'm going to remember your name too. And I'm going to promote it. And I'm going to say, hey, he was one of the voices that was saying we need to do this. And then actually show action towards it. Don't just say we need to do it. Show action towards it.
Okay. Just like these controversial so-called extreme right podcasters. Okay, I don't agree with them on a lot of stuff, but I also don't agree with some of the others on a lot of stuff. But I still listen to some things they say, because at some point, with nothing happening, the only conclusion to all this is some of these Republicans have to be in on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the
like
only
this act. Why would you not vote for it?
Conclusion. And it's not
because it's benefiting you somehow.
And it's not a conspiracy anymore. It's a conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, because I mean, it's one of those 1 + 1 is going to equal 2 every single time. So if you get this person not voting for this, that helps, make voter fraud very hard to do or go away completely. It won't always go all the way away. But if you're not voting towards having laws like that and making them stronger, then you must be benefiting from them somewhere. And again, I'm going to get my little, microscope. I'm going to get my little, magnifying glass. I'm going to be researching a lot more than I already have. I'm going to make it a goal of mine this year, that if you're not with us, then you're against us. And I will be shouting your name to the rooftops.
Yeah.
And I'll make that my personal mission.
People are tired of it. And if everybody's wondering, why are they talking about Bam Bonnie? I don't know this lady personally. I'm not talking about her personally. But what it's looking like is the same old Bill Barr, the same old Jeff Sessions, kick the can down the road. That's what it
say the right
like.
things on news stations and news shows and other podcasters, but then when it comes down to rubber meeting the road, it's like it just stops, and everybody's going go.
They kick it down the road for the next person to try to figure out, which it will never get figured out. If you do that over and over and over, you will get the same results over and over and over, which is a big fat zero.
And if anybody who is an actual conservative, okay, if anybody, and let's just say you want to just run on the Republican ticket, anybody that says that they want to do that, actions are going to speak way, 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 way louder than words. I want to see some action. I want to see at least putting forth an effort, even if it gets knocked down. I would rather see you fighting in the House or the Senate. I don't care if it's in Mississippi, Rankin County, or Washington, D.C. I want to see you put that backbone, because honestly, that usually draws people. That's what leaders are made of. They're not going to always be popular with everybody for a reason. And typically, if you're on the right side and the side for justice, and the side that's actually going to do the right thing for people, that's going to come out. We're going to see that. And to be honest with you, we're going to push so hard for you. And because you know that the left has their own machine. You know, you say one thing that's, not in their way, they're going to try to push you out. But I mean, you start having people notice 2024. Again, I say we can do it. We just have to do it, honestly.
Yeah, because you give them once, they being Democrats, and you elicit appreciation twice, you create anticipation. Give them three times, you create expectation. Four times, it becomes entitlement. And then five times, it establishes dependency. And they're all exactly like that.
Yes.
Like clockwork. I did not write that. Thank you to Patrick Bet David for that. But
yes,
that is exactly what happens. He's right.
Mhm.
That's the way they play every card. They encourage mobs, obstruction, confrontation with federal agents, chaos. I am heard over and over and over in every angle about the Renee lady that got neutralized by the ICE agent. He was filming her with his camera.
Mhm.
And yes, she was trying to run over him.
Mhm.
Now I've heard every whatever side of the story. I've watched every angle. Is it horrible? Sure it is. But if you go after or you try to quote box any law enforcement in a vehicle and you try to run over them, you got to live. If you live, you got to know what you're doing right then. These are decisions easily made. Get out of the car.
And you put
your
you
hands
put
on
them in
top of your
danger
head.
when you do that, because you could have easily killed that person. And they under the law, if they are being threatened with their life,
They have the right.
They have that
to
right,
neutralize you.
which they did, which he did. And in fact, I think what I heard is that Governor Tim Walz in 2020, I think he passed a law that says if you accelerate your vehicle towards a police, a law enforcement, not just like the police, but any law enforcement, that they have that right, which we already know he has. But it sounds like he, strengthened that law. Well, then why are you turning around saying, oh, y'all are, these agents are trying
Walz.
to, yeah.
He won't run next time, though.
No, God. He won't. So that's why he's talking his big mouth right now.
We came this close to having that person being the vice president of the United States of America. If anybody ever tells me we didn't dodge a bullet, they're insane.
That reminds me. I don't know if you saw the news article locally, but we have Thalumar Hall that's going to reopen, right? Kamala's going to be the first one. I'm like, good luck with ticket sales. I'm just saying.
That is ridiculous.
I mean, it may be, but I'm sure they're going to be buzzed in, just like it was with her. With all of her rallies, they're going to be buzzed in, and they're probably not going to be anybody local. It's going to show that she's got support. I'm just saying.
There's so much hatred and chaos going on in the country right now. And the Democrats will say that the ICE bring the chaos to the city, and it's brought to you by ICE in your city, because that's the narrative they push. They don't have anything else to talk about.
Because they're not going to tell you about it was actually the Democrats allowing all the illegal immigrants coming and flooding over the border, coming into these cities, raising the crime rates, rape and burglary and carjacking and just straight killing. That brought the chaos. ICE is trying to neutralize the chaos and the violence. And it's all these agitators that are, I'm telling you, paid. I can tell you that pretty much for 100%. I don't know if you got the clip, and we don't have it with us. I don't know if you saw it, but did you see Laura Ingraham asked? She was talking to a protester.
I did see that.
She was like, "Do you have a job?" She was like, "I'm getting paid right now." I'm like,
getting paid right now.
Exactly. That is our point right there. You literally made the point that we.
I mean, seriously, that's that. If we could just do that, if we could just start busting up these people like the Soros family, the Soros Foundation, there's a bunch of them.
I mean, but we need like investigators like gosh, I can't remember his name, but the one that went into the daycares, the
Yes,
so-called
Nick
daycares.
Shirley,
Yeah, if we could get someone like
24
that,
years old.
but multiple, to go after all these different people and kind of report back to us what you find, there's no way you can't deny a lot of these things, and they may can duck and dodge over, technicalities every once in a while, but when you've got somebody like like a mad dog finding out stuff about you, they're going to find all the skeletons in your closet.
Oh, yeah.
It really don't take much.
And let's go back to that vote. And who wouldn't pass that? That just
Thank
irritates
you.
the hell out of me, because a staggering fact that just came out today, not a staggering Trump statement, but an actual fact. Oregon's population for the whole state of Oregon is 4.25 million people. 21% of the registered voters there were fake, illegal aliens. 21. Yeah, so what? That's 500,000 people.
Wow.
Can that sway an election? Of course.
I was just going to say, like, I count those votes up and what was missing in 2020. I mean, you can
so
count them
crazy.
Up every single election that we've had. You count up the number of votes versus the number of registered voters. They don't ever match up, ever.
No.
You can audit. In fact, I call to audit every single election. Every election that comes down, count the voter numbers with registered voters, match name to name, because I can tell you that's where you can find the fraud right there, or at least, I mean, you can see the actual votes that were fraudulent.
Crazy as hell.
And I mean, if we're going to allow this, then we might as well not be America anymore. I mean, literally, let's just, just ditch it all, because we will literally be the countries that Trump is actually trying to help right now. I mean, those countries are failing. It's socialist countries and communist countries that are literally falling before your eyes, because it's such a facade that they give out. And the facade is breaking. And we're literally also at the same time allowing America to enter into that same fake facade of having an election, and having, oh, well, you get to choose, we the people get to choose. At this moment, you're not allowing that to happen if you don't vote for something like that. You literally don't care. You don't care. And don't give me the BS after this. I'm going to remember names and who's fighting for it and who's fighting against it. I'm going to remember names. And if you come out and act like you've changed your mind, I need to see receipts where you've changed your mind. Actual literal actions.
Yeah. And, I don't mean to change the subject, but if I feel like you do about certain stuff, I feel like that about a lot of these punk podcasters that have come out of nowhere, who are, in my opinion, responsible for these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old males, white males, quote, extreme right, is the same reason that a church got burned in Jackson, Mississippi.
Right.
Is because that's who they're listening to. Now, Spencer Pittman was charged today, with destroying this building by fire and explosive. The FBI did arrest him today. Over the weekend, the Beth Israel congregation in Jackson, shortly after 3 a.m. on Saturday, no congregants or firefighters were injured, thank God.
Yes.
In the interview he did, though, he mentioned the punk boy, the podcaster on the right. I don't like to give him a lot of credit. But he also referred to the synagogue as the synagogue of Satan. Okay. This guy went to St. Joe. Great family. Both of his mom and dad are in the medical profession. I don't know their names, not trying to call them out.
Sad.
And Pittman said, the arsonist said, he stopped at a gas station on the way over to the synagogue and to purchase some gas in cans to use to start the fire. And he also took the license plate off his vehicle at the station. And poured gas inside and used a torch lighter to start the fire. They also received his burned cell phone, believed to be his, recovered. And this is just, I mean,
I'm just curious though.
the suspect's father, though, said that his father contacted the FBI because, again, he said that his son confessed to the whole thing. And, look, something is causing hatred amongst the young people. And in my opinion, this is my opinion only, because this is a free country. We get to do this podcast. We get to talk about what we want to. Nick Fuentes gets to talk about what he wants to. But pushing a lot of hatred, it's never a good outcome.
No.
So in my opinion, you should step back, whoever you are. I'm not talking about Nick right now. Whatever podcast, platform, whatever. You should think about what young people, how they may take what you're saying and then go down the street and blow up a building or something.
Right. And I mean, as we sit here. You have a
responsibility as an adult.
Right. Because as we sit here, and I can sit there and be vehemently upset with someone. I can be angry, and I can be, talking about we need to get together. Obviously, disclaimer, everybody, I'm not meaning go and actually do anything or do any harm or
Absolutely
be violent
not.
towards anybody or any people.
No violence needed.
No.
It's supposed to be about
It's not going to change anything. It's also not, it does not, I hear this all the time and I agree with it. It's not going to help your cause.
No.
If you turn around and do these acts of violence and hate towards people. You can disagree with them, but tell me how much you think is helpful. I mean, this is kind of the question I was going to say a second ago. What did that young man think was going to change by burning it down? Thank goodness nobody was hurt. But I mean, were you intending to hurt somebody? Were you intending to kill somebody? And what do you think the outcome of that is going to be, that you would be like, yes, that was the outcome that I wanted?
And I'm sorry, but at 19 or whatever, or 20, 21, whatever it was,
your brain is not fully developed. Yeah, it is not.
Our governor, Tate Reeves, said, quote, Mississippi stands with the members of Beth Israel congregation. This is a heinous act that will never be tolerated, and the perpetrators should face the full and solid weight of their actions. Yeah. He's directed all the law enforcement partners in this investigation. I agree. Right. I don't care what, left, right, middle, black, white, green, red, none of that is important.
All right.
I was disappointed in listening to the Jackson mayor talk about it, but he had to bring in race. I thought that was sloppy. I thought that was tacky.
Because it had nothing to, I mean,
because it had zero to do. Religion is not race.
It's not race.
Now, I don't know John Horn. I heard he's a pretty nice guy. He should have reworded that, because there's no need to bring in race.
Yeah.
Religion is not race.
I'll give it to him as in my opinion, strike one.
Yeah.
And
right.
So.
And yes, anybody would be better than our last mayor, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I'm just you got to make sure, number one, we can't keep playing the same game.
And we can't play the race game.
No,
look, for years.
That was for the last few years. We're, as a former Jacksonian, I can tell you, speaking from the actual Jacksonians that are still there, we're over that point. We didn't want the mayor that we had. We wanted a new mayor. We wanted new leadership that's actually going to come in and, be fresh. That's what the old mayor of Jackson would have done or said. So that's the last thing that we needed. It's only going to spark more what? Hate. So that's not going to help anything. That's not bringing people together and saying, hey, let's, come together after such a tragic event.
And Lord knows Jackson needs to bring itself together.
Yes.
Okay. Just the crime alone. Just the crime alone. Has it gotten better? Yes. But does it have a long way to go? Yes, it
Yes,
does.
it does. It really needs some hard work, and hopefully Mayor Horn is going to be able to,
Clean
get
up at
that
least his
together.
part.
Yeah,
At
but
least his part.
that's not a way to start out.
No.
So
It's just
hopefully,
unnecessary for all of these people, the podcasters and the radio hosts that bring up race, the politicians, and then anybody that
there's
speaks
multiple
about it.
races in every political party and every religion.
Period. And a
period. So
religion
it
is
has
not
nothing
anything
to do with
with
that.
race. It
Yes.
just doesn't.
And I mean, you have different religions and different political parties. You have different churches that have multiple people in different sides of the political spectrum. The thing is, it's all about what you do as an individual. That is it. What's inside your heart, and are you willing to fight to make sure everything is good, right, and justice being brought, and are we holding people's feet to the fire? That's the whole point. And when I say holding people's feet to the fire, I don't mean legitimately. I literally mean the way that we are supposed to do it as it's written in the Constitution, and as we have the freedom of speech that's within the boundaries of those, laws that I feel like just was written so perfectly. What's crazy is, like I've said before, you look at the Constitution, it's like they were able to see ahead in the future. And they wrote things.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
It really, that
Young
they predicted
people.
all these things that could possibly come up. And then they already put in there, hey, by the way, if this comes up, do it this way. Don't do this way. And it's stuff that hadn't even happened yet. They just knew from past history, from tyrants and dictators that were in the past, and they didn't want their country to be that way. We still don't want our country to be that way.
No.
That's what we're fighting for. And what I'm fighting for, if you disagree with what I'm saying right now, good, come and tell me what you disagree about, and we can have a conversation, because it is America. So therefore, no, I'm not spewing any kind of, calling anyone to violence or harming anybody. I may be upset at the rhinos.
Or
I
racist,
don't want, yes.
Because, all these people, including myself, Kim, Christians, I don't think that God, or I don't think that Jesus or any of the writers of the Bible ever talked about somebody's color.
No, they never did. That's
Because
why people
it
never
didn't
know
exist.
what color Jesus was, because they never talked about
Right.
it.
So anybody on that train just needs to just go away.
Because every human being on earth is God's children.
Period.
So God wasn't sitting there saying, well, I don't like this race and I do like this race. I don't like this color, but I do like this color, because it would be very contradicting if that was your child to say, yeah, but I don't like you. It doesn't make any sense. And that was the one reason why it was written with that verbiage, because it's not like he's a friend. No, he's our father.
Right,
He's the parent to us. You're supposed to follow his guidance. You follow a father's guidance. You don't really follow a peer or a friend's guidance. There's whole reasons, just like with the Constitution, there's whole reasons why certain verbiage was used in a certain way. And I mean, it's if we're going to get anywhere, like what we began to speak about at the beginning of this episode, if we're going to get anywhere,
we got to line up together.
We do. As one person. I don't care. I really don't even care of your political, what political side you lean towards. I mean, as long as you feel like you're proud to be in this country and you want to make it better, then we should all come together with our ideas and come together as one, and we all agree, and then we hold these elected officials who can make it happen or not happen, bills come into play or not come into play. Then you hold those people, to what that they say that when they were elected, that they were elected for. I mean, you even have, to me, I've seen so many contradicting. I can pull up, these campaign videos of a R2 senators that said, I support this and I support this, and if you elect me, I'm going to vote for this and I'm going to vote for that. And literally day one, you literally didn't. And you not only like just didn't speak up about it and say, hey, everybody, y'all should follow us. But you also voted no towards these things you said you were going to vote for. And then while also, I mean, I kind of made a joke, and I'm going to say this joke right now. I made this joke. I really made it more towards Senator Wicker, but I put it on Twitter that I said, well, you voted no towards the SAVE Act, but I'm sure that if it was a vote to have, some kind of military contracts, defense contract, I'm sure you would have voted for it, because it all, again, follow the money.
Or a new F-15 jet.
Yeah. Follow the money. Look who gets money from these different defense companies.
Contracts.
Yeah, contracts. Somebody lines their pockets with that.
Absolutely.
And I'm just saying,
and they hang out with Roger Wicker somewhere along the line.
I just, everybody knows how I feel about that man. But
and
seriously.
And look, I do too, because he's a rhino. He's the absolute definition of a rhino, period. Better than anybody else.
If you want to see my thoughts on Roger Wicker, just go back about a year or so ago. I did a Kim rant strictly on Roger Wicker. So, I mean, you can see how I feel about it. Still feel the same way.
J.D. Vance just spoke to the guy who owns a small business. And
right.
That was complaining about the fact that he has $18 to $20 an hour employees, but the people who hire illegal aliens pay them $6.50 an hour, and it hurts his business.
Ding, ding, ding.
J.D. Vance said, well, you know what? Many of the people threatening law enforcement and interfering with these deportations are just mad that the system that they have known has come to an end.
Correct.
But and honestly, that doesn't make me feel bad, because I've been out and I've heard people brag, well, why would I pay somebody $18, $16, $15 an hour when I can grab a Mexican for about $4 or $5? That's just inhumanely wrong.
It is. It's so basically, you're saying that it's okay to take another human being to do probably harder work, pay them less money. Like, you're okay with that.
And you sleep good at night.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that's not the people I'm talking about that we should be coming together with.
No.
That is very much not the people that I'm talking about.
No.
I'm on the side of being humane. Granted, I'm also listening to that small business saying, I mean, I think we said it. I remember having these conversations before I had a podcast, but having these conversations when we wanted to raise the national minimum wage from like $7 an hour to, 12 and then 15.
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit more than $7.25. But
it does, but at the same time, when you go that high, you wonder why. You wonder why everything becomes more expensive, because companies have to push it off on somebody. They're not going to just start spending out their own money and out their own profit from it. So it's going to be probably pushed down to the customer, or you're going to have less workers, which means it's harder for you to get stuff. It's harder for things to come to your door. It's harder for you to get food at a fast food restaurant, because they have to make the money back somewhere. And then the food cost, I mean, yeah, we could go on that for a whole different topic.
More transparency.
Yeah.
In general, whatever it is. And Roger Wicker just needs to wake up and jump on TV or something and say, yes, I'm a rhino.
I mean, at least admit it already.
Like the AA.
Because you may have people that agree with you.
Like an AA meeting and him just sitting in a chair going, hi, my name is Roger Wicker. And yes, I'm a rhino.
Yes. Oh my gosh. For some reason, I'm just picturing some kind of weird AI commercial with that. Somebody I know that does that. Holler at me.
But listen, and the other sad thing is, and what does it look like in your life if you're a, quote, liberal, progressive, and you hate ICE, the law enforcement that's trying to save your ass every day and mine, and you hate them because they're deporting your voting base.
Right.
It's just
right. They actually, the more people that come in and flood that, the less voice you have. It drowns you out. And I don't understand, because if you're going to be, so inwardly thinking, self, 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 well, your voice is going to be drowned out. If you vote and you just happen to have other people that may not agree with you that are voting, but they're not actual citizens, your voice is going to be drowned out. It's going to be drowned out. I'm just saying.
Just crazy. And then you have all the Democrats that will, you're talking about screwing the economy and everything. Inflation will go out the roof. They've always campaigned for that $25 an hour minimum or $20 an hour minimum wage.
Y'all, we're not going to be able to afford a Big Mac at a certain point.
Yeah,
I mean,
we barely can now.
Take out a loan.
We barely can now.
I mean, talk about them bread line. They're going to be going straight towards the McDonald's or the Arby's or the Wendy's, man,
I mean, really, we barely can now.
Yeah.
And they wanting to mess that up even further than it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. But I do know that today, one of the Trump statements, executive order, I don't know if he signed it, but anybody effective immediately, any country that's doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay an automatic 25% tariff on any and all business being done with the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive. Donald J. Trump.
Period. I'm just saying.
These people hate us. I mean,
they do.
Look, I mean, I've said it over and over till I can't hardly talk. They hate us. They hate us.
They do.
And this is the way they were raised since they were babies. They don't know anything else.
They don't.
They just don't.
I will never forget, actually, Dr. Phil is not the Dr. Phil of yesteryear.
No.
I don't know if you watched any of his new stuff. He's got a lot more like documentary type stuff.
Right.
But one of them, this was right after the attack in Israel. Okay. And he had a show where, of course, you had a lot of, and honestly, it's white women, but I'm just saying it just happens to be. But, this white woman that, she wanted to even convert to Islam, she was just, all for Palestine and they were, done wrong. And this is why it was justified. And the other side of that was a son of one of the Islamic terror,
yeah,
one of the people that were part of the groups, Hamas. But it was a son that grew up in that. I mean, he was supposed to be like one of the next one. He ended up getting out and he ended up converting, being unbrainwashed, basically. And he talked about how they brainwash you as children, how they make you feel and just indoctrinate you at a young age. Like, you wonder why we as conservatives get upset about the indoctrination in schools. This is why. It's good for children to learn the right things and to be repetitive in the things that they know, the colors and the days of the week and how to do times tables so they can figure out things on their own. But to be indoctrinated with ideologies is a different story, and it's just crazy how they're okay with that. Yeah, they're okay with that. With it. They, so.
But they have a bizarre state of mind. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we are back.
We're back, baby.
It is 2026. I know we missed a lot and we can't talk about all of it or we'd still be talking tomorrow. So much has happened and we'll get into some of that next time. Hopefully we'll have a guest. Just want to hit this by the numbers. The AG's office this year, whatever you may think of the AG of the state of Mississippi, 51 human trafficking victims, over 1,200 cyber tips and or internet crimes against children, over 3,500 complaints that were investigated, 16 point of sale skimming devices discovered. These are all big things. Wow. I mean, it goes on and on. It goes on and on. over 25 billion secured in consumer protection recoveries. So I want y'all to all think about this kind of stuff when you're out and about. And listen, if you're young, because I'm entirely too old, but I would do this if I was young. If you're young, they said they're always looking for young folks to come on board and work for the cyber fraud task force.
And
So
you
if
know, we
you're,
need help with that because
you
they're
know,
rampant.
it is rampant. You know, if I could do it all over again, I would get into that kind of stuff at 21 years old.
Mhm.
You know, but we didn't have this rampant craziness and this crazy social media that has to be battled every day.
Yes.
And it does have to be battled every single day, not just in Mississippi, in the entire world. So,
This is true.
anyway, we're going to try to have one of the Attorney General's cyber force guys on, or either the Attorney General Lynn Finch. More to come on that. We'll put the advertisement up when that gets going.
Yes.
So
Hopefully so. I would love that.
I enjoyed it. 2 shows today and 2 other meetings today. I've done 4 things in one day, and I love
I know
it.
you just keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, but when I go to sleep, I have to sometimes.
Well, tomorrow morning you can listen to Frank and Kim really big show.
Really,
Really big, humongous, gigantic, enormous,
huge,
jumbo
enormous,
size, biggie
jumbo,
size,
extra,
super size
supersized show.
show.
And that show comes on at 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday mornings at 104.3 FM, Rankin Hines, Madison County. Check it.
Yes.
And you're
Or you
also,
can't. I mean, you can also hear us streaming on X, on FK Really Big Show is our handle, or we're part of the morning show, so we're still under Rumble because you know Rumble don't let you change your
Right.
name, under the WPBP the Pirate 104.3 on Rumble. So you can
Nice.
catch us there if you can't catch us on 104.3. So
That's perfect.
and then tune in Wednesday. So we got your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday mornings covered.
That's right.
You know, because then Daryl comes back on Wednesday, 6:30 to 8
a.m. Central Daylight Time.
That's right.
Until the time
Get Unleashed
changes.
Media.
No, Central Standard Time until the
Get
time
Unleashed.
changes. Get Unleashed.
I can't even do it.
All right, y'all. I appreciate it, Kim.
Yes.
Always a great time, and thanks to our producer,
Mr.
the
Hyde.
supersized,
Supersized. That's right.
the supersized voice.
Yes. I don't know. You're the voice.
Well, mine says
Voice
voice,
of
of
doom.
doom.
Yes, you got your studio award.
Kim is
That's right.
the voice of reason.
Oh gosh.
Anyway,
Sometimes.
thanks,
All right.
y'all. Peace out.